What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight we are talking about week 3 and Big Brother. Huge loss last week, guys. We lost our first winner pick.
Did you say week 3?
Week 8.
Week 8.
Yeah. We
Think we
lost.
lost our first winner pick, or
Yeah.
it's not my winner
No,
pick.
not yeah.
The pod, everybody picks someone. So
Yeah,
we
we're all really torn up about it.
we'll probably talk about it a lot. And we'll probably miss him a lot. But yeah, we left off with Quinn winning HOH. He had nominated Angela, Chemo, and Rubina. And Leah comes up with her first competition win. She wins the veto. And guys, I don't know if this was kind of random for you, but I did not know how close Leah and Angela were. Was this surprising for you guys to see this kind of connection here?
Yeah, because they only started. I think they realized that they're going to show us that she takes her off the block. So they had to start showing some sort of relationship, because anything that, it's funny because I just watched our pod this morning that we did last week, and Patrick was talking about the friendship between Tucker and Cam and how there probably was a friendship. They just didn't show it in the edit, So I think maybe there was a relationship between the two of them. But I don't remember Leah walking with her when she was in the backyard picking up the balls. She was like cuddling with like 3 dudes, So
Yeah,
that
I was
new.
Yeah, I was also like, oh, I guess it's one of those situations where something's going to happen within Angela and Leah's relationship. I was like, okay, that's a move. I guess I don't, I don't know if that was the right move for Leah's game, but then again, she really is kind of on an island still, it seems like. So I don't know. I was perplexed. I was like, I get the meaning behind it, but I was like, I don't know. I don't think that was the right move.
Why do you
think
say
it was
that, Pat?
for Leah? Like, not for Leah?
Not for Leah, because I think number one, everybody's got to stop putting. If you don't want somebody to go home, don't put them on the block. I feel like that's again something that they haven't figured out yet, and I don't know why everybody's like, well, pawns. We've seen it twice in a row now that pawns go home, and the fact that Quinn is shocked or like he wasn't supposed to, that doesn't matter. You don't promise anyone anything just because somebody flipped on top. Yeah, reward those. Who gives a fuck? Why are you rewarding people that got out a giant competition threat that you didn't spirit? Chelsie spirited, but if Quinn wants Joseph to stay, don't put him on the block. That's day one stuff. And he's like, wow, this is such a shock and this is crazy. It's like you put somebody on the block. If you want to put somebody on the block, you have to be willing in your head to be like, it's okay if they leave. It's fine. But nobody has that understanding. So he's crying and Leah's crying. That's why I think it was kind of a bad move on Leah's part, because Quinn and Joseph, she has wrapped around their finger. I didn't realize how, and if she knew that Quinn was going to put Joseph on the block for some reason, again, doesn't make sense. Put Mackenzie up. You're not working with Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Put her up.
Do you think if Joseph didn't go home, it would have been the right move for Leah then?
I think so. Because, I mean, Joseph and Quinn are literally would do anything for her. And Angela, that's not the person, and we've seen this time and time again. She's not the person to put all your eggs in a basket. But
everybody keeps doing it, Pat.
And you know what?
They want to buy a little Angela stock.
I guess so, because again, it is working to Angela's favor because she's so unlikable. She becomes kind of valuable. But I mean, I think saving Quinn and Joseph, or keeping Quinn happy, saving Joseph, they're more likely to pull Leah off a block or keep Leah than Angela is, because we saw it with Tucker. Angela, and she flipped on Tucker like that just because she kind of got a bad feeling, which was wrong, which he was willing to go far with her, and she turned on him like that. So for Leah to be like, yeah, no, I got you, it's like, that's not the you can say that, but just be like, I'm gonna rally votes for you, Angela. I can't put Joseph or Quinn in that position.
So Pat, what you're saying is that you don't think Angela wants to sleep with Leah? Is that what you're saying?
At this point, maybe. I don't know.
But wait, Pat, can you do, because it happened again when she gets taken off the block, your impression of Angela when she finds out that she's being taken off the block?
Oh my God. This is my dream. I'm going to keep on fighting and keep on being here. Shut up.
You mentioned it, Pat, but Joseph and Quinn being wrapped around Leah's finger. How about that? How awkward was that in the bed in the HOH room?
Weird. So weird. It was.
Like do you think that if she was like, hey guys, why don't we all get naked? Do you think those guys would be like ripping off their
dude? I felt like they
wouldn't even finish that sentence, and they would be butt ass naked.
Massaging each other, though. That's the problem.
No, yeah. It was so weird. And I was watching it with Maya, and she was like, this is creepy. And I was like, yeah, it is really creepy.
She should have played a joke and be like, guys, get naked. I'm going to step out for a second. Get ready. You guys start without me.
They wouldn't hesitate. They're like, Leah, can we just smell your hair? We'll do anything. It's so bizarre. The fact that when Quinn got on his knees and kind of hugged her, and she was like, okay. I was like, dude, watch it. Oh my God.
Super awkward, but really weird. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, Uncle Shane, what did you think? One of your favorite players, one of all of our favorite players has been Angela, of course, this season. What did you think of the conversation that Joseph had with Angela? Kind of being like, you know what, Angela, I just don't see a way for you in this game. And then immediately having to eat his words right after.
It was really special. It was really, really special because he was so rude. It was just sort of coming to him. He's like, I can't believe you're standing in front of me right now. You are hated. The fact that your fat ass is still in this, it was almost got that mean, right? And she's just, because then they cut to her in the diary room talking about how she feels during it, and then it cuts back and it's in real time. And it was just you kind of feel for her, and you just realize wow, yes, she's a terrible person. And yes, she said all of these things, and she continually blows up, and she plays everything wrong, yet somehow she's constantly being saved. And then this happens, and it was so great. The best is when he comes down the stairs because he sees her, and he's got to catch her by the weird washing machine that's outside, right? We never talked about that. There's washer and dryer that's outside. I don't want people who watch this pod to think that that's what Southern California is. It's people don't have washers and dryers outside. So that's
mine outside. You're literally right out here.
Okay. All right. Well, there's one family that has a washer and dryer outside California. But so he has to walk down that circular staircase, which is great because it's he has to think about it and we have to see it. So as he winds down, then he's just like, hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't see that coming. It's well, of course not. She handled it really, really well, but I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. I thought that was the best edit. I think that was most composed I've ever seen Angela. And by that one episode, I was like, you know what? Angela's not the asshole here. For the first time this entire season, I legitimately, she did not infuriate me. And it was the pompous. And then I want to throw this to you guys. What did you guys think of Joseph's conversation with Chelsie?
Oh,
my God.
where he is just like comparing himself to her
Dr. Will?
and to the Dr. Will, and he's just like, yeah, like my social game, and it's like, dude, we haven't even seen you. What is your social? I felt like you stayed in that room where you had to listen to what's his face,
Matt, yeah.
Matt. Oh, he's awful.
Dude, yeah, it was crazy to see because that's all I've seen of Joseph is him talking about himself in this weird version that he thinks like America loves me, I'm the villain, great. I'm getting I'm getting a lot of airtime, I'm doing this. And the moments that I've seen of Joseph have been of him talking to himself in the third person like that. And it's crazy. I always thought he was pretty delusional. And then this conversation, I was like, oh, this guy just is a absolute nut job. For him to go to Chelsea and be like, yeah, we're on the same page. We're playing the same game. Thank God for Chelsea being like, that's what the fuck are you talking about?
She has great restraint. She has great restraint because people say stupid shit to her all the time. And then she unloads in the diary room, which is so great.
And that's what you have to do. You just take all that in. And for the first time, we saw it with Angela with the conversation with Joseph and Angela, where he's like, which first of all, Joseph, oh my God, that conversation infuriated me too. Because, I was so surprised Angela was like, yeah, okay. I was like, why? Where the fuck was this all season? Just do that. But, oh my God, that conversation was wild. Dude, what do you think?
As Joseph being my winner pick, I was not a fan of either of those conversations. I thought that he was, really digging himself a hole that he couldn't get out of. And Quinn decides to renominate him, which is kind of a dagger. But, as we're going towards this AI arena and then the eventual vote, it seemed like Joseph did actually have the votes to stay. But I think that a couple people were swayed by Chemo's speech at the end. Do you guys feel the same way? Do you feel like that was the actual reason why Mackenzie and or Chelsie decided to flip and keep Chemo in the game, was his speech of kind of like representation?
Mackenzie for sure. Chelsea's a little bit pissed with Cam. And this was a message to Cam, like, stay away from the white girls, right? that's what this is, right? And it should be, because like she's into him and she's beautiful and he should be interested in her, but like he's trying to be a playboy and she's got his back, So like that's why she flipped, and good for her. Like, she was the only reason why she was, not going to send Joseph home was to take care of Cam. And she doesn't need to, because Cam's not taking care of her. So it's just, he's being selfish and he's using his studliness to get the girls, Mackenzie and Leah, on board. And she's like, I had enough of it. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I this is probably one of the first times I think I've seen like a speech really win someone over. Cause I feel like usually you go in kind of knowing, this is how people are going to vote. Or if you don't know, people will be like, well, this was the plan, or stick to the plan. And to see Mackenzie go into the DR to make her vote and legitimately be thinking about it, like, what should I do? I was like, whoa, I haven't seen that in a while. Like, he was and I think Kibo, number one, is just probably more likable than Joseph, obviously. And
Joseph is Joseph's biggest fan, though,
He loves Joseph. It has the confidence of any straight white guy I've ever met. So, that'll dig you deep, buddy. Just absolute delusion. But Chemo is just I think he's probably just more likable. He's easier to talk to. He's not the villain of the season like Joseph. But I think him being like, Joseph gives his speech, whatever. And then Chemo, with all this emotion, he wants to play. He did. He swayed some people. And I was shocked that they kept him, because I think he is arguably a better player. But I think people are just like, how am I going to vote this guy out? He really wants to be here,
But you can only use that card once, I feel like.
And you've only once.
Yeah, he used it, and it's like he can't be like, "Hey guys, remember I'm gay and I'm
Yeah.
Hawaiian." It's like, no, we got it.
No, yeah. I also think that it's like we've seen the Angela speech. It's like, I mean, keep on fighting. And it's like you can't do that either because that's Angela's thing. So
Exactly.
I'm very excited for his speech.
Angela's cornered the market on I'm going to keep fighting. It's my dream. But wait,
Monopolize that wholly.
the other thing is with Joseph is that I love two things about his elimination is how mad he was when he walked out with Julie. You know, some people realize like, oh shit, it's over. All right. Oh my God, there's a live crowd here. Let me sit with Julie. He was like sad, pouty face the entire time. And he didn't make it to jury. The fact that he could not last one more week and make it to jury, because this past week we realized how important it is to be on jury. Like you don't want to go home before jury. If you leave at some time during the jury, but you make jury, somehow like you have your self-respect and your dignity is intact. But this dude, he did not make it and he was so mad.
Yeah. And even talking to Julie, there was no like, she was like, so you compared yourself to Dr. Will. Yeah, I mean, totally. That's what I think. He goes, yeah, they're probably threatened by me. I was like, who? You suck.
And then Julie goes to like read the prompter. So she's like looking right at the camera and he's staring right into the camera, like with like a death stare. Like, it's like, dude, look away, dude. Like, it's creepy. You're like looking into our souls.
The only thing that I wanted to touch on also with this vote was, the Mackenzie and Chelsie, those were the two that were kind of like, we didn't really know exactly where they were going. And then Angela decided to keep Joseph in the game despite the conversations that they had. Is that surprising to you guys? Because I would have thought that Angela would have taken the chance to vote him out as soon as she could.
She believed that the house was going in the other direction. And she, like the one time she was going to vote with the house flipped and she again was just, shit out of luck.
Yeah. I also think, what was the Chemo voted against Angela and there was that conversation that they had, I think the week prior with, who got voted out last week? Tucker. With the Tucker vote, they had that, Angela and Chemo are talking. And so he's like, yeah, well, I voted to evict you. And she was like kind of hurt by that. And so I'm assuming part of that kind of played into her decision-making skill. Like,
you could be right.
She was probably a little bit burnt because she seemed like the person to kind of hang on to stuff like that. But no, yeah, you're right. I think objectively, I'm surprised she voted with Joseph. To keep him, that seemed a bit odd.
What about her sloppy way of trying to make it all work, but the conversation with him? Like, does she think that she's got some sort of gift that of of communication, that she's like the Bill Clinton of Big Brother, where she could just sort of talk her way out of it?
He read right through that shit. Yeah. Good for Chemo. So Chemo stays. Shout out Rubina for winning the final AI arena. She killed that. I think that competition was really catered towards her, just kind of flying around there. And that's the end of the AI arena and the end of pre-jury. So we're now just playing regular Big Brother at this point. I said it before, but I think the AI arena is something they should bring back. I really enjoyed that twist. This season, I thought it brought a lot of drama, and we see players like Tucker, people that have multiple chances to kind of get through the game with the extra competition.
I agree. I thought this twist was great. I thought everything that they've implemented so far has hit. We've seen in the past where they try to implement a twist and it doesn't really go well, or they kind of it doesn't really do what they think. I think everything here really, really hit the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. What was it? Was it like a year or two ago where they split the house in half and put half the people outside? Like that wasn't even like they just took the first idea in the conference room. They didn't even like really flush out the ideas. They're like, okay, good, let's go home. It's Friday.
Cool. Yeah.
Terrible idea.
Yeah. So glad this one hit. And so the next HOH we have, which was basically the recall of all the videos. Any of the videos stand out to you? I'm kind of interested that they brought back Chef Lisa.
She definitely
Oh,
just lives in Los Angeles, and they were like, "You can come do this bit for us." I don't
I
think.
think she hasn't left, and they're like, she won't leave the building. So like, she's still on the Radford lot. They don't know what to do with her, so they're like, bring Lisa back. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
they're not even going to pay her a day rate for that. She was just begging to come back.
You know what the
Uh,
best thing is when sometimes when the show is over and people watch how they handled themselves, like Angela is going to realize when she was doing the crazy eye stuff and like all that stuff's going to come back and haunt her in her life, right? Because she was not a good person. She was not a good person to Lisa. Is it Lisa, the chef?
Yeah,
She was not a good person to Lisa. Like Lisa was a pain in the ass, but she didn't deserve to be called a twit. And how Lisa was, I mean, Angela was a bully to her. So now, as time goes on, she shows up in the video and it cuts to Angela being like, I still hate her. Like it was like, if you see that, like Angela's still ripping her apart all this
yeah,
time later. So it's not one of those things where like, hey, I had a bad day and I treated Lisa terribly and I regret that. No, I'm a horrible person because weeks later, a month later, I'm still saying shit about this woman who I
yeah.
bullied.
That's a really good point. You think with like, maybe we've just been catching Angela on bad days consistently, and the height of the game. But when these people are eliminated and then they reappear, she's like, fucking stupid. Like, I hate you.
You're still a twit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It'll be interesting on finale night when they bring back the pre-jurors, and usually they give like a couple seconds or a segment to some of the pre-jurors. I have to imagine they're going to talk about, Angela's bullying tactics at some point, right?
100%. I mean,
Well, if she makes it to the final two, that's 200% is going to happen. But like, yeah, they'll go to her because she was such a character. She's been such a
yeah.
character.
I wonder if she does get eliminated. Do you think she's going to come out to cheers? Like, or
Yeah,
do you think she'll get booed?
I think I think people will cheer for her.
Because there's an audience warm up guy there in the studio and he's not asking for people to do jeers, yeah, like like booing or anything like that. So he's getting them to applaud.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because there very few people have come out to booze, and I'm like, I don't think Angela has been like that terrible, but she has been like mean to her housemates, and so I'm curious to see, because I know America doesn't. I don't know. I feel like she's clearly like she's fun to watch, but I think a majority of people are like, she's great to watch. Can't stand her. Like, just it's like watching the Housewives. You're like, I can't imagine hanging out with any of these people, but great television.
Yeah. Um, Chelsie is able to win this tiebreaker, win the HOH in a tiebreaker. Cam was really close if he had just like left a zero off. I don't know if he just kind of froze in the moment, but he would have won that. But Chelsie wins it with the tiebreaker. And I think the most interesting thing here at this HOH is Cam and Chelsea's dynamic at this point. It seems like Chelsie just can't get past Cam and, Mackenzie and Leah being so close. And she really is questioning his loyalty at this point. Is this surprising to you guys?
I mean, for such a ladies' man, and you could tell like he's a ladies' man. Like he's a smooth guy. He's a handsome guy. It's not like he just got in the house and became handsome. Like he's been handsome probably his whole life and has been dealing with women. The fact that he's snuggling with the two of them, yet he has such a strong relationship with Chelsie, and he doesn't realize that Chelsea's going to have an issue with that, just seems dumb. He's not handling this well. And I think that, she feels a certain type of way and she feels like he's making her look stupid, and so yeah, she's pissed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's, if Cam and Chelsea clearly have are the duo, and it's like you're my number one, I'm your number one. We promised each other we'd look out for each other, regardless of if Cam is interested romantically in Chelsie, which it doesn't seem like he is. When you have a duo or you have a partner or you're day one, it's like you have to be aware of how you're being perceived by everyone. And it's like when you're flaunting, your relationship with two other people, other females especially, it's like this is a game all about social dynamics. And it's like if you can't pick that up, that's a problem, because if the great players know how every conversation is a moment. There are moments where you are real, but it's like you have to be aware of how you're being perceived. And when your partner, when your number one is coming up to you and be like, listen, I don't think you're with me. You're getting all buddy, getting in bed with Leah and Mackenzie. That's a problem. Even if it's nothing for Cam, he doesn't see it as that. You have to reassure your person that, hey, no, I'm good with you. And so I agree with that, where it's like he's got to be like a little bit more careful. I think Chelsea's kind of being like, well, if he's going to be in bed with them all week, I'm going to do whatever. I'm not here to play anyone's game. I'm going to stop looking out for the person that I thought was looking out for me, because clearly it's not being reciprocated.
And by the way, Leah is showing a perfect example. Like she's like running a clinic on how to handle stuff like this. She had three dudes sweating her. And two of the dudes were in the bed with her, and they don't get mad at each other. She's able to handle it where they don't get mad at each other and like go after each other, or they don't get mad at her when she's interacting. And so Cam has somebody that he can watch and learn from, and yet he doesn't.
Yeah. And it's also, and that's a benefit to Leah's game, where it's like, so that's why it was so surprising when she was like, I'm going to keep Angela. It's like, well, you have a ton of these guys kind of wrapped around your finger. I mean, Leah's kind of a threat. And, I think Chelsie putting up chemo is kind of, I think you should probably put up Leah, because it's like she does have a lot of those interactions. Chemo is you're kind of good with. I mean, it's just I thought Chelsie should have leaned more towards Leah. And also Leah has Quinn, who Quinn saved her. She was gone. Like she was a goner, and he made a huge thing about keeping Leah. So she has a lot of influence, more influence than I think people are letting on, but I think he is starting to see it. So it'll be interesting to see who, depending on the veto, who's going to be going up as a replacement, and then who's going to be going home.
Well, I have a question for you guys. If Leah somehow gets chosen for the veto, does she have to save Angela again? Because if she doesn't, is that considered wasted? And how fantastic would that be?
I think she doubles down and does it again.
That would be insane.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, that would follow along with this season, because this season has been so good. Like that would be such a great move. But like, isn't it kind of wasted if she doesn't do it again? Like you saved her once and you're not going to save her a second time. Then it was like your first save meant nothing.
Yeah.
And you lose another close ally in Joseph for nothing.
That would be insane if she won again and she saved Angela again. That's 3 vetoes used on Angela, which that's got to be a record.
That's just adding to Angela's resume.
I mean,
I don't know that it is. I think it's doing just the opposite. I think it's doing just the opposite. Like,
she could say, I don't have to win vetoes. People just use them on me.
We're getting to the point now, and we're getting close, where Angela is going to start to be a threat and like kind of the dark horse here. And I never would have guessed that. If you would have told me week 3, she would have made it this far. I mean, we had the conversation. Geez, that's crazy.
Why is she eating in the diary room, like mowing down chips and telling us how good they are? Like, I had nothing to do with anything. It was like, what's happening?
Oh my God.
That's just Angela. That's just her.
That's just her. I mean,
Um,
what do you guys think about the nominations? Do you think that was?
I agree with you, Pat. I think that putting up chemo, I think, was the wrong move here. Because when Chelsie and Leah spoke, you could just Leah was not giving anything, and Chelsie was seeing right through it, and she sees how well connected Leah is. But I think the only reason why she didn't nominate her at the end of the day was because of her connection to Cam, and I don't think she wanted to go against Cam at this point.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, I think she might be the renom though if it happens.
I think so too. I think that's the smartest play. I'm hoping Cam or not Cam, or not Angela, Chemo wins veto and she puts Leah on because Leah is a threat. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And yeah, that conversation, by the way, Leah, fucking promise something. Give her something. That's crazy to be like, yeah,
That's
well,
how good my winner pick is. She doesn't she doesn't have to say anything. She just like, even with the girls, like the great thing is like that works on the guys and they probably walk away and I was like, well, that was really well said. I didn't think of it like that. Meanwhile, Angela's like, the fuck is that?
yeah. I mean, just
Not
like
Angela, Chelsea's like that
Yeah.
meant nothing. You said no words.
you said, not you're like, yeah, no, it's crazy because that happens sometimes. It's like you didn't say a thing in that sentence. You said nothing.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But besides that, I mean, that's basically all that's happened this week. Anything else, guys, before we close out?
I'm just praying that that Leah gets in there and that she wins veto. Like that's all that matters to me. And then my question is, what is Art Pals?
Where's that? Where did you
Patty's
see that?
shirt. Patty's shirt.
Oh,
Was that?
What are Art Pals?
It's just the shirt. It's my Art Pal shirt.
But is that like something at your school?
No, this is separate from the school. I just have a shirt. I got it.
So you're just a grown man who has children on his shirt that has nothing
Okay,
to do.
all right. Whoa. Pause. This fucking guy. It's a shirt. I don't know.
It's a little weird, Pat. It's a little weird. You can.
What? How?
I don't know. You're a teacher. I don't know.
Oh my god.
You're not even an art teacher.
All
right.
right. Well, in other words, that's everyone's shirt. What shirts are you guys wearing?
He's online
Yes,
going, how do I find a shirt of little children with their bats to me?
And that's week 8.
That is a wild Google search.